All right, let's start with the big story that we're tracking on Wion at this hour, where the United States, in a major announcement, has announced a reversal of its long-standing policy on the illegal Israeli settlements in the occupied West Bank. Now, it no longer considers these settlements to be illegal. This is how U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo put it, stating that calling the establishment of these civilian settlements on Palestinian land in the West Bank is inconsistent with international law and has not advanced the cause of peace. Listen in to what the American Secretary of State have to say on this issue.
The hard truth is, there will never be a judicial resolution to the conflict, and arguments about who is right and wrong as a matter of international law will not bring peace. This is a complex political problem that can only be solved by negotiations between the Israelis and the Palestinians. The United States remains deeply committed to helping facilitate peace, and I will do everything I can to help this cause.
But also, the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has praised the U.S.'s move. Netanyahu has said that he's spoken with the U.S. President and has thanked him for correcting what Netanyahu is describing as a historical wrong.
אזרחי ישראל, זהו יום היסטורי ועוד הישג עצום למדיניות שלנו. אחרי שהנשיא טראמפ הכיר בירושלים כבירת ישראל, הכיר בריבונותנו ברמת הגולן, עכשיו הממשל האמריקני שם קץ לשקר שההתנחלויות הן בלתי חוקיות. אני מודה לנשיא טראמפ ואני מודה למזכיר המדינה פומפאו.
All right, so that was the Israeli Prime Minister there stating that this is an important and a step by the United States that he appreciates. And for more perspective on this, we are joined in by Daniel Pagani, our West Asia Bureau Chief, who is joining us live from Amman. And let me begin by asking you, Daniel, the timing of this announcement by the United States, where they state that viewing these settlements by the Israelis in the West Bank, which is so very important for a two-state settlement between a two-state solution between the Israelis and the Palestinians, will no longer be considered as illegal. How are we to view this announcement by the Americans?
Well, the timing is very important. Why so? On Wednesday, Benny Gantz, who is currently in charge to form or to try to form a government in Israel, will have his deadline. He is currently talking with also the Arab parties and some left-wing parties, and this has Netanyahu extremely worried because Gantz is on his way to form a minority government supported by Arab parties. So the timing of this announcement by Mike Pompeo clearly undermines this attempt, because this is a favor done to Benjamin Netanyahu in order to try to eventually boost his image and his political followers if at all Israel will go to a third round of election in 1 year. Then also we've had the attack coming from Gaza after Israel resorted to a targeted killing against one of the commanders. So clearly the United States also decided to announce this rehearsal of their 4 decades of politics regarding Israel and Palestine at this very moment, in order to try to show once again how much they support Israel and how much they really do not care about being nowadays a neutral actor in a possible peace process. So these are the 2 most important factors that drove the decision that the United States of America took regarding the legality of the Israeli settlement inside Palestinian land.
Absolutely, indeed. And also, this is not the first time an announcement of this nature has been made, because over the course of the last couple of years, we've seen 2 other announcements that have been made by President Donald Trump. Firstly, recognizing Jerusalem as the capital of Israel and shifting the American embassy there. And also earlier this year, ahead of the crucial elections in Israel, he also recognized the Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights. How are we to read these slew of announcements that have come from the American president?
Well, first of all, we need to put a bit of a disclaimer when we talk about this. All these announcements and all these decisions have no real effect when it comes to international law. These are unilateral decisions taken by the United States of America. So there is there's nothing that is going to change really when it comes to international law. But nevertheless, this has an enormous political weight, because the United States of America still is the staunchest supporter of Israel. So this is clearly a way that the United States of America has to make extremely clear clear that they have absolutely no intention to reverse their support for Israel. They keep supporting it, and increasingly they support Israel, whatever the Israeli claims are. This also tells us indirectly that the United States of America is not really committed to find a political solution between the two states, because declaring unilaterally Jerusalem the only capital city of Israel, declaring that the Golden Heights are part of Israel, and also declaring that Israeli settlements, which have been the major obstacle for any peace dialogue, are not illegal anymore, means that the United States of America does not consider a peace process a possibility. They just prefer the status quo and legitimizing the status quo on the side of Israel, abandoning the cause of the Palestinians and abandoning the eventual and very small support that they've had towards a two-state solution. So it's more of a political decision than an actually legal decision.
Absolutely, indeed. And also, just before I let you go down, considering the fact that, these settlements are such contentious issues, the fact of the matter is these settlements have not stopped. There is increasing announcements that are made of more settlements that could take place in the future, because Israel has not said that it will not build any more settlements. So at this point of time, Mike Pompeo's announcement, does it adhere only to the settlements that have already been constructed? Because Israel does not limit itself in the number of constructions in terms of the settlements that it wants to construct, both in the West Bank and also in the Gaza Strip.
Of course, look, we need to understand what is the political meaning of the Israeli settlements. Israeli settlements are settlements of people who moved into the territory which is called as the West Bank, and before Gaza, then they abandoned it. But in the West Bank, these people moved in after the 1967 war. These are territories that Israel militarily conquered after the 1967 war, when they were attacked by the Arab armies. The Fourth Geneva Convention clearly say that it is forbidden under any situation to move forcibly population into an area which has been conquered by war. There have been multiple United Nations resolutions. The most important is the resolution 2334, which clearly states that Israeli settlements on Palestinian soil, on the part of land that will be one day perhaps the Palestinian state, are illegal under international law. So the settlements have been a major obstacle towards the process to peace. If you look at it from the eyes of the Palestinians consider the settlements and the fact that they have been growing under several Israeli governments an instrument that Israel has to slowly reduce the portion of land that is entitled to them and that they consider as the core of their future nation. Hence, this is an obstacle, and the fact that the United States of America are supporting this clearly makes the Palestinian absolutely unwilling to consider Washington a reliable partner in any possible peace talks. So this is the problem right now that comes from this sort of decision. Even though it doesn't change the international law, clearly the United States does not rule on international laws.
Right. Thank you very much indeed, Danley Pagani, for joining us and putting it all in perspective in terms of what is unfolding in the Middle East at this point of time. We'll of course be tracking the developments as they unfold.